text number 4 and 5. Yesterday also it was discussed. We'll continue to discuss more on this verse. Buddhirgyanam asammoha shama satyam damasama sukham dukkham bhavo bhayam cha bhayam eva cha ahimsa samada tushtis tapodanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhavamūtānam mattha eva prithagvidah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, self-controlled and calmness, pleasure and pain, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy are created by me alone. So here in this verse, Krishna is speaking that there are so many qualities in this world that living entities they exhibit, some good qualities, some bad qualities. But Krishna is saying they're all coming from Krishna. They're all created by Krishna. So some of those qualities been discussed yesterday, which is text number 4. We today will cover text number 5, which covers certain qualities. Ahimsa samta tustis tapodanam yasho yashaha bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pratak bidaha. So ahimsa means non-violence, samata, equanimity, tusti, satisfaction, tapo, austerity, dhanam, charity, yasho, the fame. So these are various qualities, and Prabhupada gives wonderful explanation and wonderful perspective to understand what exactly these qualities are. So let us talk about this ahimsa first. Ahimsa means the non-violence. Prabhupada explains here non-violence means, so generally we understand violence means hurting someone, causing some harm to someone physically or at the most mentally. So this is what is the common man's understanding. Ahimsa means physical or mental uh, hurt. But Prabhupada explains here, non-violence means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. If somebody is putting someone into confusion also, that is also considered as the non-violence. Material activities that are promised by so-called politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good results because the politicians and philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. So this is an important point that most of us will miss out to understand what is ahimsa. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that they fully utilize this human form of life. And there is a purpose. What is that full utilization of this human form of life, which even the great politicians, philanthropists, they make big promises, but they miss out on this point, that how to train people, how to bring that culture, that facility, which helps an individual to fully utilize this human form of life. And Prabhupada further explains, this human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commission which do not further that end commit violence on the human body. This is important point. This human form of life is meant for spiritual realization. So if somebody is not helping us, who is in a position to help others, they have the power, they have the influence, and they're responsible, but within whatever their capacity, if they're not helping us to progress spiritually, then that person is considered as committing violence. Right. So this is important point, which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general is called non-violence. So violence means not utilizing this human form of life to its fullest extent, which is the spiritual advancement. If that is not happening, it is actually considered as the violence. And what is violence? It has been explained in the scriptures in various ways. This is also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it has been explained as Nardehemadyam Sulabam Sudurlabam Plabam Sukalpam Gurukarnadharam Maya Anukulena Nabasvateritham Puman Bababdim Nataretsa Atmaha. So this is very important verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, which explains Nardeham Adyam Sulabham Sudurlabam. This Naradeha, this human form of life, which is Sudurlabam. It is very rare to achieve. Now we have got this. And this human form of life is a special benediction, it's a special boon one who has achieved, because it is compared to the Plabam. Plabam means it's compared to the boat. The boat which can help one, Mayanukulena Namasvate Rhythm, which can help one to cross over this material existence, the ocean of this material existence, Samsara Sagara. So this human form of life is very, very special, should be utilized to cross over this material existence. It is compared to the boat, wherein Sukalpam Guru Karna Dharam. So Guru, the spiritual master, is the Karna Dharam, is the captain of this boat. So one should take the shelter of one of its spiritual master, and under his instruction we should row this boat, this human form of life, this human body, which can help us to cross over this ocean of material existence. If that is not being achieved in this human form of life, then it says Puman Bababdim na taret sa atmaha. Puman, the living entity, is who na taret, who does not cross over what Bababdim, this samsara sagar, this ocean of material existence, then that person is Atmaha. Atmaha means he is the killer of the soul. So we are killing the soul. We become violent. So this is the definition of non-violence. One should not act in such a way which kills the soul. Killing the soul equal to not crossing over this material existence, not coming out from this material bondage, not coming out from this conditioned form of life. So this is considered as violence. So this is the understanding of non-violence here. And in the Ishopnishad also, it is similarly, it is explained as Atmaha. Right. Okay. So another quality uh, is Samata. Samata means equanimity. Equanimity, we should be equal to everyone. Now, how do we understand we should be equal to everyone? Can be equal to everyone. There are different people. We have to treat them differently. We have to give them different respects, like the kind of respect one gives to their own parents. You still respect your neighbors, some uncle and aunts. We respect them also, but it may not be equal. Right? We have the different relationship with our own parents. Teacher, we show the different respects. The guru, the spiritual master, we show the different respect. So what it means, like samta means how we can be equal. We should be equal to, an animal in the street, like a dog. So how do we remain equal to everyone? So yes, we should give everyone a respect. Equally, we should give respect, but also we should understand something called the due respect. We should give them the due respect. So we are equal. Many times Prabhupada uses some strong words from the scriptures, like Krishna says, the Muda Vayam Nabhijana. The Muda means the fools and the rascals. Prabhupada, during his lectures, he used to use these harsh words. You fools and rascals. And somebody asked that, Swamiji, as being a sadhu, as being a saintly person, you should treat everyone equal. Why you keep criticizing and condemning these materialistic people, calling them fools and rascals like that? You should be equal to everyone. Pandita Samadarshina, as the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also explains, a scholarly person, a person in knowledge, he treats everyone equally. Samdarshina. So, you are criticizing them. So, looks like you are not Samdarshina, you are not treating them equal. So, Prabhupada, to that question, he responded nicely. Prabhupada says, yes, we are equal to everyone. We are samatha. And then Prabhupada says, we equally welcome everyone, no matter that what is his background. He can be a sinful person, come from any background. We welcome everyone. Our doors are open for everyone for Krishna consciousness. That is samatha. That is equanimity. Right. So it's not about just treating everyone equally. There is due respect, and for for practical purposes, for functioning in this material world, we have to deal accordingly, different people differently. But the deeper meaning of samta means we see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, and equally they're given the chance to take up Krishna consciousness. And also here in this purport, Prabhupada explains samta refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. To be very much attached or to be very much detached is not the best. So you should be equal to everything. Now, how we so it's very natural for the conditioned living beings that something we like, that we are naturally attached to the people and the things, and something we doesn't like or someone we doesn't like, then we are averse to them, we are detached from them, right? But Prabhupada explains here the material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion. Now, how do we understand this? How it is possible? So it is possible only when a person is in Krishna consciousness. Then you becomes free from this attachment and aversion, attachment or detachment. How Prabhupada explains that which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and which is unfavorable should be rejected. Right? So our criteria is not my personal liking or disliking, my love or my hatred. That is not the criteria. Criteria is Krishna consciousness. If something, so this principle is also given by the acharyas in the scriptures. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. Something which is favorable for practicing our Krishna consciousness, which is anukul, which is favorable, we accept that, and something which is unfavorable, we reject that. So personally, we don't have any discrimination that I like this, I'm attached to this, and I don't like this, I'm detached to this. No. So that is what is the meaning of equanimity, that we are okay to accept everything which helps us to practice Krishna consciousness, to execute Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada explains here, samta means a person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept unless it is useful in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness. So this is very, very important. Sometimes, they say, oh, sadhu should not be attached to money. He should not be interested in money. But this is the incomplete understanding. Yes, a saintly person who is interested in spiritual progress should not be interested in materialistic thing, money, and all of that accumulation of money and all of that for his personal use, for his personal sense gratification. But he should not reject the money. That will become Falgu Vairagya. Falgu Vairagya means it's a false renunciation. So one should understand, a sadhu understand, nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. So everything has its own connection with Krishna. If it can be utilized, engaged in the service of Krishna, then one should not falsely, prematurely, immaturely, one should not reject those things. One time Prabhupada went to visit one place where, so he was sitting under a tree, and the history of that place was, in the past, a famous saintly person from some other tradition, uh, he came to that place and he sat on that place under the tree. So somebody, when Prabhupada was sitting, somebody was telling that Swami is such and such person in the past, a great, renounced person. He came there, and when he was sitting there, so somebody in the crowd, he said, Swamiji, there's a lot of money under, the place where you are sitting. So immediately the sadhu, he jumped off that place and he said, where is money? Where is money? This is Maya. This is Maya. I can't be even close to the money, you know. So when Prabhupada says, so that somebody said, Prabhupada, if we tell that there's a lot of money here, then what will be your response? Then Prabhupada says, uh, if you tell me where is the money, I'll ask, where is that money? I want more money. So this is important, that we don't reject the things, immaturely, if it can be utilized in the service of Krishna. So Prabhupada was, spreading Krishna consciousness, and that requires, a lot of support, a lot of resources. So this is samta here, that no attachment, no detachment falsely, but we should see that how we can utilize that in the service of Krishna. So this is very important. As being a devotee, as being a practitioner of Krishna consciousness, we doesn't reject the things just like that outrightly. This good and this bad. Of course, there might be few things which cannot be utilized in the service of Krishna. then has to be rejected. Like meat, like meat eaters. It cannot be this meat eating cannot be utilized in service of Krishna, or like intoxication. It cannot be utilized. But some other things, which might seems like materialistic thing, but it can be utilized and engaged in the service of Krishna. We should do that. So that is the definition of samatha here. Samatha means equanimity. So we discussed non-violence. Non-violence means we should not kill the soul, we should not defeat the purpose of human form of life. Second one we discussed is samatha, equanimity. Prabhupada explains equanimity means one should accept this world without attachment or aversion for your personal interest. But for Krishna, whatever is required, we should accept that. Third item here to discuss is tusti. Tusti means satisfaction. So now this is also very important quality that one should learn to be satisfied. Right. So Prabhupada explains here, satisfaction means that one should not be eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activity. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction. So there's no end to accumulate the things. There's unlimited things and there is unlimited desires. Right. So there's no end. But where to draw the line? So one of the Acharya Rupa Goswami explains Atyahara Prayasya Prajalpo Nimagraha. So he says Priyasa. Priyasa means over endeavor. One should not do over endeavor, one should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Lord. That is satisfaction. Now one should be satisfied with whatever comes. So sometimes people are not able to make out like what is that limit where I should say now I'm satisfied, I don't want. Sometimes we can justify. There's 100 desires, and we are very expert in justifying all those 100 desires. This is important, that is also important, and everything is important. So looks like I want everything, and then I want to fulfill all these 100 desires. And you get so consumed by fulfilling all those desires that there's no time for anything else. So that is where this principle of tusti, the satisfaction, plays a significant role. So Rup Goswami gives us the guidance that priyasa, our endeavor, means that the work which doesn't allow you to practice your Krishna consciousness. So one should balance the material life and the spiritual life. You can work hard, work honestly, and work in a very disciplined way. But you should work only which doesn't take away your time for your practice of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, you can work 24 hours also, and still you might feel like, oh, there is more work pending. So we have to draw the line, you know. So balance material and spiritual life. So that is what is the priyasa. Priyasa means over endeavor. So one should not do over endeavor within your uh, limited time. And what is that limited time? Which allows you to also practice Krishna consciousness, like chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, prescribed number of rounds, like our Acharya explains, chant in 16 rounds, and daily reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and hearing about Krishna, doing some practical devotional service also. So that much time you should have. So there should be, so one should learn very intelligently to divide, the entire time. So it can be divided into three parts. One thing for your material duties, one thing for your spiritual duties, and one thing your personal things. Right. So you can work. So we can divide like 8, 8, 8, like that. We can divide your 24 hours, 8 hours you work. Work very focusedly, honestly, with full attention. Do your work, 8 hours. And then you leave. After that, whatever comes by Krishna's grace, you should be satisfied. Then 8 hours if we can spend in Krishna consciousness, like you chant 2 hours, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then read 1 hour or 2 hour the scriptures like Gita, Bhagavatam, do some practical devotional service like that. If 8 hours are not possible, at least few hours we should spend, right? And then rest 8 hours is for your personal things, like you have to take rest, you have to eat, you have to take bath, you have to spend some time with your family members, and all of those things. So like that. So within those 8 hours, you work sincerely, you work hard, and whatever comes by its own accord, by the grace of the Lord, one should be satisfied with all of that. So this is tusti, and then the next item is tapasya. Tapasya means the austerity. So our scriptures recommends many rules and regulations, and one should like simple things. What is the tapasya? We hear tapasya in the scriptures like In the earlier times, in the bygone ages, these saintly people, they used to sit in a jungle, in a forest, in a secluded place, in a very simple, humble living, like in a hut, and they'll hardly eat anything. And whole day they'll be engaged in meditation, and like that, that kind of austerity they used to do. But we all understand that in this modern age, those kind of austerities are not at all practical and possible for most of us. Practically, for all of us, it is not practical, it is not possible. So what kind of austerity we should do? So austerity, simple austerity, which is given, recommended by the bona fide acharyas in the Guru Sishya Parampara, like rising early in the morning and taking a bath. Ideally, one should get up during Brahma Muhurta, take bath, and then immediately the first thing is that you sit and chant your rounds. If you are in the temple, attend Mangala Arati, the morning sadhana program that Prabhupada has given, which can also be practiced at home. Right? So sometimes it might be very troublesome to get up early in the morning, especially in the winter season. You know, it's very difficult. They say that person, some people, they go to the gym, and they go to the gym, they can lift heavy weights, some, I don't like, heavy weights, so much of pounds of dumbbells and the machines and like that. So for some people, even lifting the heavy weights might be easy, but lifting the blanket while you're sleeping in the early morning time, it becomes even heavier than lifting some weight in the gym. So it might be very difficult sometime, but that is an austerity. We have to get up, and then we have to take this trouble, this suffering voluntarily. So the austerity means taking voluntarily pain for some higher cause, for the cause of Krishna, for pleasing Krishna, for serving Krishna. So this is austerity. So getting up early morning, chanting daily prescribed number of rounds, and leading a disciplined life, and then certain days, special days, fasting like some festivals like Janmashtami, Ram Navami, Narsimha Chaturdashi, and many festivals like that. So fast on those days, especially the Ekadashis, twice in a month it comes. So one should fast. We may not be inclined. We might feel like very difficult to fast, and not eating, you might feel temptation to eat. But that is an austerity which is required if someone who is determined to advance in the science of Krishna consciousness. So this little bodily troubles one has to take. So this is austerity. And when we talk about this fasting and all of those things, Prabhupada also warns here in the purport that one should not whimsically do this fasting. Some people, they do the fasting which is not recommended in the scriptures, just whimsically they create their own ways of doing the things. That is not considered as austerity. Austerity means taking the trouble voluntarily for the sake of a spiritual advancement, not for any other purpose. Otherwise, people you see in this material world, they work hard, like some people 16 hours, 18 hours, very austere. But for what? For some material gain. So that is not in the true sense of the term, can be said as austerity, or it is austerity in ignorance. So like that. So this is tapasya. So here ahimsa, samata, tusti, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity. Next item Prabhupada mentioned here is the charity. Now charity is also very important quality, especially for the householders. Right? There are different ashramas, brahmachari, grasta, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. And for different ashram, different specific duties are recommended. For brahmachari, it is learning. He should engage himself nicely in, studying the scriptures and under the guidance of guru, and practicing those principles like that. For grasta, because they're allowed to earn, they earn money, then it is their duty to also give the charity. Right? So Prabhupada here explains one should give 50% of his earnings to some good cause. Now, it might sound very heavy, but this is the recommendation in the scriptures. One should give the 50% of their earning, and that too also for a good cause. Now, question is, what is the good cause? Now, good cause is Krishna is good, and Krishna's cause is good. Prabhupada says, which is conducted in terms of Krishna consciousness, that is only that is not only the good cause, but that is the best cause. Prabhupada writes here. Krishna is good, his cause is also good. So the charity should be given to a person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. This is the best charity. There might be some other ways of doing the charity, good charity, like helping some poor and all those kind of things, which is very common that many people does that. That is also a good cause. But here Prabhupada says the best cause is Krishna's cause, which is someone who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and spreading this message of Krishna consciousness for the welfare of the entire human society, so that people don't become atmaha, they don't become the killer of the soul. So those people supporting them, supporting their cause is the best cause, right? So according to the Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to a brahmana. Now, why it is to Brahmana? Because the Brahmana is engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. They have no other business. The true Brahmana. No, it is not referred to some labeled Brahmana as caste Brahmana. And the true Brahmana is Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, one who is absorbed in Brahman. Brahman means one who is absorbed in cultivating the spiritual knowledge and practicing some principles. Samo, Dama, Tapas, Saucham, Shanti, Varjam, Ayavacha. Gyan Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Kram Svabhajam. So one who is engaged in all this tapa, socha, and tapasya and austerity and cleanliness, clean in character, and uh, reading the scriptures, understanding them, and guiding others. So Brahmana, when he's engaged in these higher duties, then he doesn't have the time to go and earn money. So it is the duty of the householder to support those kind of Brahmanas, or the sannyasis, those who have renounced everything for spreading the Krishna consciousness, and they doesn't even stay at one place. They keep traveling. Sannyasis duty is he just keep traveling one place to another place, and he beg alms. In our Vedic times, that was a sannyasi. He begs alms door to door. He goes, and not for. So it has been explained. Bhagavatam also explained that sannyasi goes and beg alms. So somebody might say that, oh, you are a nice person, strong and stout. Why can't you work? You're simply just coming and begging alms and begging charity like that. Why can't you work? So the point we need to understand, the sannyasi go beg alms door to door, not for his personal gain or something. Under the plea of begging alms, he's going and meeting the householders, and he stays only for a few minutes. It is said in the Bhagavatam, he stays like the time the somebody uh, milk the cow. It just take few minutes. That much time he stays. He doesn't stay long in somebody's house, and Aram say he's relaxed there and enjoying, and the householder they're serving him. Not like that. Few minutes he stays there, bag arms, and in that few minutes he can impart some very valuable instruction to the households, those who are very much absorbed in that materialistic way of life. So when sannyasi comes, some sadhu comes, beg alms, and he might say some good words, something from the scriptures, and that might click to the person, and it might change the whole course of their life, and their heart may get transformed. So that is the purpose of a sannyasi going, visiting, and begging alms. So the charity should be given to the people, those who are engaged and the purpose of awakening Krishna consciousness to the common mass. And that is the best charity which can be offered. And the last item that uh, Krishna explains here is yasha. Yash means the fame. And what is fame? Like we see a lot of famous people, some Bollywood, Hollywood, sports stars, and all kinds of famous personalities are there. But this kind of fame is very flickering fame. It is temporary fame. And actually, as per the standard of the scriptures, it is not even considered as fame. It is bogus fame. The real fame is, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is the real fame. Right? That is the real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness and it is known, then he is truly famous. One does not have to leave such fame. One who does not have such fame is infamous. So we have many examples in the scriptures, like we talk about Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Kunti Maharani, Pandavas, Parikshit Maharaj, all these great personalities, they came thousands and thousands of years ago, and still they're famous. Devotees knows them, we talk about them, we derive some inspiration. They are real famous. Hanuman, great devotee of the Lord, like that. So that is the famous, and that is the only desire of a devotee sings the song, कीट जन्म हो जततु बदास बहिर्मुख Brahma janve nahi aas. I'm not interested in even becoming famous like Brahmaji, who is the creator of this entire world. The devotee say, no, I don't want to become like Brahma, who is not an ordinary person, but I can become even a small insect if you know I can continue to become a devotee. If I can continue to serve you, remain as a devotee, then I am okay to remain like a insect. I reject the position of Brahmaji. So this is what is the real fame. Okay, so these are all wonderful qualities and wonderful explanation by Srila Prabhupada. So non-violence, ahimsa, samatha, equanimity, satisfaction, tusti, austerity, charity, and the different kind of charities being described in the 17th chapter. So one can read and understand what is the right charity and how it should be done. And then last is the yasha. So these are some of the qualities and wonderful purports and explanation by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll stop with this unless anybody has any quick question or any comment somebody wants to ask. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.